Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is the Upper Tier Podcast. I am your host, Niall. This is another transfer show, just another morning news and transfer show coming to you live from work today. Unfortunately, I'm not out in that beautiful sun, back at the grind again. Some interesting stuff after coming up overnight and stuff like that. We're hearing that 7 people have been punished in relation to the racism issue with Finney Jr. there that we seen earlier in the month. Absolutely disgusting scenes, deplorable to think that this is the kind of thing that goes on. 4 of them have been fined somewhere in the region of 50 odd grand, and also been suspended from 2 years from the stadium. The other 3, I think, they're lower fines, somewhere in the region of 5 to 6,000, and they've been suspended for a year from the stadium. Now the question is that punishment severe enough for what we witnessed? Absolutely disgusting scenes being put on that young man. But let us know your thoughts on this. I'm not sure whether that's severe enough, I mean. Should those people be facing a custodial sentence? Let me know your thoughts on it anyway. Gundogan has come up again. Apparently 4 clubs in for him at the moment. Barcelona, Arsenal, Dortmund, and obviously a pending offer from Saudi Arabia. Fabulous player. Looks like he's going to complete a treble. Might be the right time to bow out from Man City. He's been absolutely fundamental in their success this year and over a number of years. Brilliant player. Apparently Arsenal have offered him a 2-year contract, but less money. I think Barca are kind of moving out of the loop of it now. Dortmund, I think, have offered him a 3-year contract with slightly more money. But I suppose the big offer that's going to come in is the Saudi offer. When you look at what's happened with Benzema and stuff like that and how they want to develop that league, they're looking to bring in genuine superstars, and this guy is a genuine superstar. Now, at 33, will he want to head off to Saudi, or is it a bit too early? Is he looking for a 3-year contract plus 1? This would be his last big contract. So will he want to stay in Europe and continue his success maybe at a different club? Would City retain him? Who knows? But certainly it's going to be very interesting. But maybe that offer that might come in from Saudi would, similar to Benzema, would be just too lucrative to turn down. Massive offer, I would imagine. Real Madrid have entered the ring and they've thrown their towel in terms of their bid for Harry Kane. They've submitted a bid of about 80 million. The talk is that Spurs want 100 plus, up to 120 million. They're not going to get that for Harry Kane at this stage. Absolutely ridiculous money. But with Benzema moving on, he seems to be the main target for Real Madrid now. So let us know your thoughts on that as well. Will Real get their man, or is Kane looking to stay in the Premier League? Will United be able to entice him? Certainly he'd be fantastic signing for United. But 80 million is the opening salvo from Real Madrid, so let's see where this goes, and let's see, are Spurs going to hold firm on their man, or is it time for them to cash in as well? Will the lure away and the opportunity to win trophies just become too much this time for Harry Kane to stay? Postecoglou looks like he's going to be the new manager of Spurs. Interesting though, they offered him a 2-year contract, which I find very strange. In some regards, but not in other regards, insofar as they've obviously learned the lessons of giving out the big contracts to Mourinho and Conte and having to stump up that money at the end when it doesn't work out. But are they kind of saying that a 2-year contract, that they saying to Postecoglou, like, we're going to give it a go, we're going to bring you in, see how it goes, but like if it doesn't go too well, we'll bin you out the door? Or are you just a transitional manager where they try and find the right guy? They've really struggled to get a manager in. Not too many suitors and stuff like that, most people turning it down. But they've also said there will be funds available for Postecoglou when he comes in, seeking to sign David Raya, James Maddison and Max Kilman. The money and the finances will be in place to do those 3 signings if that happens. So let's see what happens there. We're hearing that Arsenal have agreed personal terms with Caicedo. Again, I'm not sure on this story. I'd imagine he would have agreed personal terms with a number of clubs, but Arsenal would have done the groundwork last year trying to get the transfer across the line. We did mention it yesterday as well. But will Arsenal get their man? There's talk that they want him and Rice. I wouldn't think it's likely that they will get both, but Caicedo would be an amazing signing for them. And certainly laying down a marker in terms of their continued development in pushing for another title race and maybe a potential title this season. They need to continue to develop. But he's a fantastic player and it'll be a great signing. Chelsea have revived their interest in Lavia. This is on the background of Ugarte probably going to PSG and them missing out on it. I know there was a lot of shenanigans there with the agent and stuff like that, where the deal had been agreed and terms had been agreed, and then he went back to Chelsea and said, "Oh no, we've got this much bigger offer now that we want you to match." This is just a shithousery that goes on in the world of football agency and stuff like that. So Chelsea have probably done the right thing and said, "Yeah, we'll go to PSG then if that's what you want to do," and they're exploring other options now. Alexis McAllister, looks like there's going to be a medical booked for this week. The dad was in town, more or less everything is signed up at this stage. He will become a Liverpool player. But the interesting thing that a lot of people have been shocked about this weekend is that the fee looks more like it's going to be about 43 to 47 million, way lower than the 60 to 70 million that people thought. And a lot of fans out there and content creators are now questioning why their club weren't at the front line of this, knowing that the cost is so little and that the upfront fee is so little in terms of the player and the magnitude of what you're getting. So interesting to see how that develops this week. We're sure to get an announcement shortly excuse me, that Alexis McAllister will be a Liverpool player. Apparently a conversation that he had with Klopp, even though we're not in the Champions League and we're in the Europa League, apparently the conversation that he had with Klopp was the deciding factor in getting it over the line. So that's absolutely fantastic. Goes to show how important having a manager like Jurgen Klopp is there as well. Regardless of the situation that you find yourself in, you can still attract top players. Liverpool also have gone back to have another look again at Frank Kessie. They're talking about a fee somewhere in the region of 30 million with Barcelona. Certainly Kessie's an absolute powerhouse box to box. Seeing him playing live, I did myself in Anfield and all. He was one of the shining lights on the night that night against Liverpool. But certainly it'd be interesting to see if they do move for this. It looks like they're going for a real overhaul of the midfield. If you look at most of the players they've been linked with, they all tend to be midfielders. So the question is, what does the future hold then for the likes of Jordan Henderson and stuff like that? Are we going to get a total revamp this summer? Let's see what happens. But certainly talk going around Liverpool also inquiring about Frank Kessie at Barcelona, 30 mil. Lewandowski staying at Barcelona. He has been linked with a move to Saudi Arabia as well, but it looks like he wants to stay at Barcelona. Sounds like he has plenty still to offer in terms of the whole European scene and stuff like that. Very similar situation to Gundogan as well, but happy to stay at Barcelona amid Saudi links. But let's see, will the offer be too much to turn down? Let's see what happens. Kante also, they're pitching a lot here at the moment, Saudi Arabia, in terms of developing that Saudi league and bringing in stars and stuff like that. We know that Messi had been linked with a huge move as well. We've seen Karim Benzema after going there. Obviously Ronaldo went there as well, but also Kante, who was saying he's happy to stay at Chelsea, but contract talks haven't been really happening and negotiations and stuff like that. But he's also been linked with Saudi Arabia as well, and could a big offer for him lure him away from the Premier League as well. I'm sure a number of clubs would be interested in the services of N'Golo Kante. So let's see what happens there. Lots of moving parts at the moment at Chelsea that we'll have to keep an eye on. Plenty of stuff going on. They want to retain Levi Colwill. Obviously there's the Mason Mount situation, Loftus-Cheek. So much business and change is probably going to happen at Chelsea. Be interesting to see what Chelsea looks like come August when the season kicks in. Brighton, of course, just incredible, isn't it, when you think of Brighton, their scouting and their business and how they do it. And I often say what we should do is, as clubs, is look at who Brighton are looking at or who they're going in for, and just beat them to the race there, rather than letting them sign the player and then clubs like Liverpool and other clubs going in and having to pay them 50-60 million for players that they got on a free or for very low money. Another outstanding job here. They know McAllister's going out the door, so they're bringing in, of course, Mahmoud Dahoud is coming in on a free. Now, do we get shades of this again, that he's going to come into the Premier League, light it up at Brighton, and then in another year they're just kind of moneyball him out for another $40-50 million? We should be going in, our club should be going in and just going, yeah, listen, we'll sign Dahoud and we'll give you this much, instead of handing it to Brighton in 12 months' time. But let's see what happens there. But Brighton just doing outstanding things in the market, as they always do. Lindelof, of course, set for a new contract offer at Man United, a new deal. I think this kind of makes sense. They're going to be fighting on a number of fronts this season coming, especially in the Champions League. They're going to need some squad depth and stuff like that. And when you look at when you look at Lindelof, you think he's one of the better defenders they have there outside of the first picks and stuff like that. Harry Maguire will probably exit the building. I think it's time that Harry moved on. The kind of captaincy has become toxic, and the use of him has become kind of toxic. And I think Ten Hag will sever ties there. Harry Maguire will move on in some sort of a deal. We've heard situations where they're willing to pay 10 million to pay up the contract and all that kind of stuff. So obviously United don't want his services there anymore. Obviously he's an asset there. They want to try and move on and get some money in to give more money to Ten Hag to spend. But we will see what happens. But I think it was always going to be Lindelof that they were going to retain. He's come in and he's done a better job. He's been more solid and stuff like that at times. De Bruyne has come out and he has said that his career won't be defined by the Champions League. I think where I would agree with him on that to a point. I think if you're a top player and you're right up there, I think your career does get defined by what you do in Europe and in the Champions League and in those moments and stuff like that. And Kevin De Bruyne, to get a Champions League under him and that treble as well this season would be massive. That would truly be career defining for Kevin De Bruyne. Exceptional player, unbelievable. Arguably being one of the best midfielders that the Premier League has ever seen, and certainly in the last 8-9 years or whatever it is, but he's been absolutely outstanding, and that synergy he has with Haaland is absolutely scary, and all the players around him. But I think his career, when they look back, it's those moments in the Champions League, they're the ones that really define them. The leagues, are really, really important, and the domestic cups and stuff like that. But to get that European success over the line is absolutely massive, and it just catapults you to that next level of stardom and stuff like that. That's it, folks. That's your roundup this morning there. I'll chat to you again tomorrow. Don't forget, check us out 9 o'clock tonight. We're going to have a great guest on, Keith Elliott Greenberg. This man has been involved in WWF magazine. He's a best-selling author. He's been involved in the A&E biographies. He's worked with WWE. He's worked with lots of people. His books span anything from WWE superstars all the way to the Encyclopedia, all the way to Bruce Springsteen, Michael J. Fox. An outstanding guy, an outstanding character. So if you want to join us tonight at 9 o'clock, jump in the chat if you have any questions for him. We'll try and put as many questions to him as we can. Great guy, really looking forward to having the chat with him tonight. More information will be out on the channel during the day and stuff like that as things are confirmed. And we will talk to you again real soon. Cheers, guys.